hour is here.
Check it out.
And you're locked on to Utah's highest rated, most listened to sports radio station.
It's my station. It's my station.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, let's get it. Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is a Wednesday, or as our good friend Lloyd Cole calls it, a Friday. Hope you're all well. Let's get it.
Hey, hump day is just about as good as a Friday. Halfway through the week, getting closer to the weekend.
Yeah.
You guys are all doing good, man. Just get through the day. We break into Thursdays, and you rock and roll into the weekend.
You know Lloyd's off Thursday and Friday.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah. Now I understand.
Now he's all unapologetic about it. You're darn right I'm taking it off. Taking all the days off.
I think that Lloyd should just start declaring the days he's going to work.
Yeah, like what days will you be here?
Not what days will you take off. So golf is the great equalizer because Scotty and I are sitting here watching Gary Player on this par 3 course, and he is
tearing it up.
And it's like, man, is there any other sport in the world that a man that age?
No, there's nothing.
He is 89.
Yeah.
He will turn 90.
You've seen his, workout regimen, right?
No.
Google it.
Really?
The dude he's a workout machine. Yes.
He turns 90 this November.
And he just stuck a par 3 about, 2 feet from the hole.
Right. And he's just kind of going along with the Masters field on this par 3. It's always a fun tradition. These guys play a par 3 and warm up their swings, and they've got their wives on the caddy, and they got their kids on the caddy, and kids running all over the place and chopping up the course. And there's Gary Player. We just watched it. What was it, 2 feet you said?
Yeah, easy.
2 feet a foot away.
Dude keeps himself limber.
Does he?
Yes.
A lot of stretching.
Hey,
calisthenics.
Yoga.
You say Christian called in sick? Because I think he's on TV right now.
Yeah, he's got apparently a food bug.
That is Christian Esparza.
Wow.
Right there on the TV.
He's hanging out at
Chicho?
Augusta. Yeah.
That's Chicho. Receded hairline and everything.
Oh, that was unnecessary on your part.
Oh, no.
Did you just attack his hairline?
What? No, his hairline attacked him. His skin's advancing on the hair.
Yeah. The war of the forehead is going towards the forehead and not the hairline.
Cheech is a good one.
He is a good one.
He's my absolute favorite. It's just he got married and his hair quit. And that's fine. It happened to me. It happened to Scotty.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened to you.
Apparently, I'm not technically married yet.
Oh, dude.
Well, I mean,
You just got that tight head of hair. Are the Portuguese known for thick heads of hair? Is that where that comes from?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Because I would give anything to have that head of hair.
No male pattern baldness in Portugal?
Not as far as with on my grandpa.
What are you spending per haircut right now, Lloyd?
Well, nothing, thank goodness, because I have a wife that cuts hair.
Oh, okay.
So
just cut you up.
She cuts me up, yes.
Right.
So right now, but I hear the going rate for a barber is $90.
Stop it. Nobody's paying $90 for a haircut.
$90.
No.
We just had this discussion with Alex Napolis, who just got a hair. Apparently, his buddy who is a barber, lines you up and fades and stuff like that, and it was going to be $80. $90. When I was getting, and I had a barber that used to do some of the jazz players' hairs, like B. Russ back in the day, and I was paying $14 just for that.
There was a lady in Burley who, this is back in the day before, debit cards and things like that. And my mom, I would go in there and she would write a check, but she goes, how much is it? And I'm like, oh, I can't remember. And it was like $10. And then she would let me write out the check for $15 and then give me $5 in cash back.
Hey, our barber friends that are listening to us in the barbershops right now, tweet at 975 Hands or at Scotty G Zone or at Lloyd Cole Zone.
Yeah, I'm curious. What's
$90? That's your going rate. I'm telling you right now. I'm not lying. $90 for a barber.
Because about once a year I buy a new set of clippers, and I set the guard at about 1, maybe 1.5, and I should be doing it every week. Sometimes I let it go like a month, and then I get the whole fryer tuck thing going on the sides. But yeah, that's the extent of my haircuts these days.
You're going to get the barbers that, well, we're artists now.
I did send a tweet out. I just said, hey, men out there, what are you paying for a haircut nowadays? Originally, going back to when I did have hair, my sophomore year at BYU, I started shaving my head because my head felt better in a helmet, shaved, and it was saving me X amount of money.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to pay for a barber.
You didn't have a barbershop in the football complex like the kids do these days.
No.
So you didn't.
No.
So you kind of went
Exactly.
like, my hair is hot.
Yeah. So I shaved my head.
So I shaved my head.
I did. A little bit of Pedro. A little bit of Pedro in the football locker room.
And then I sat in the tub.
My head was hot.
All right, we got a lot to get to today. We'll do a check-in. I believe we got Bob Casper today, so we'll chat with him coming up at 1:05.
Hey, does it look like I got a little sun on my face?
It does.
Yeah. Dude,
How was it?
Dude, can I just tell you this? We are in a good place in this state, man.
We are in the golden age of sports in the state of Utah, and it's only going to get better.
That stadium is state of the art. It's all just brand new, perfectly built, perfectly designed. The seats are a very comfortable hard plastic. You know, you can get hard plastic that kind of curves on the edges and they make it too narrow, so it hurts your hips. Like it's all back fit. You can slide back into it. It's really nice, comfortable. You got foot room in front of you because, you know, nowadays in stadium builds, they're building the seats too close and you can't move your feet. Like there are some stadium seats that I have to turn my feet, my size 15s outwards because I can't fit. So nice arm room, armrest, cup holders. The whole thing is just so, it's built with such intelligent intent. And I'll tell you, Scotty, they knocked it out of the park, and we just got a special little gym here.
Nice.
And the tracks, the way the tracks pull up right up to it, they let you out right in front.
So the track's line's up and going. I know they're working on it, but it's done.
It's up and going.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, because I saw them moving, and I saw people coming all over the place out of the trains and all over the place. And a lot of people are just walking from their houses.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot believe. I have not been up there in the Daybreak area for probably 6 years, 5 or 6 years. All of the multiple family housing that they have built in there. I'm talking thousands and thousands of homes that are kind of stacked and townhomes and different condo setups and all the streets and walkways lead you to restaurants and barbers and little shops and then eventually to the baseball stadium. So the way that the housing is set up so you should be able to get at least 2,000, maybe 3,000 people out of those housing units for
every single game.
Every game. And it's just immaculate what they've done, Scotty. And, you know, a couple of other things. I love going to the major league parks, and I love their big digital boards that will post who's coming up to bat.
Yeah.
And it posts everything about him. It posts everything about him, every one of his stats. And you can see his RBIs, you can see his hitting percentage, you can see, and they've got this board that has beautiful picturing. And I know that they were doing some of that at the old Beast Park, but this is like a high level, really nice board. So I love that aspect of it. They still have the hillside seating,
The berm,
which was awesome. So people were crowded in there. The food options, they had the Philly cheesesteak. As Steve mentioned, J-Dogs had parked their trailer inside the park.
Nice.
On the backside of the putting greens, because they do have a little putt-putt area. They got it's a putt-putt course for kids. And in fact, our 1280, the zone tent, was right there by it. So we were kind of parked right there next to it. It's awesome, Scotty. I'm excited for you to get out there.
Yeah.
And go see it. Maybe I'll meet you out there. And we'll take the wives out, but
packed place, ready to go.
Yeah, it was. It was slow to fill in because, you know, some of your initial, parking directions, everybody's got to get used to
Yeah,
where to enter. And
It's first time for everybody. You got to figure it out. It's all right.
yeah, so a couple of those things might take a little bit of time. And anybody out there that bumped into any type of ticketing issue or any type of parking issue, those things will shake out. Those things are those little bugs will shake out. But the overall baseball experience, awesome. It is as good as it gets, man. For a minor league game, as good as it gets.
Were they handing out avocado toast blankets? Was that part of the promotion? Or
Why you got to go after my avocado toast blanket, dude?
no, I saw it. I'm like, wow, that's a really cool promotional thing they were doing today.
No, that they didn't, man. They handed out yellow bees towels and they handed out black bees t-shirts. But I brought the avocado toast blanket. That's my avocado toast blanket. Even though I can't eat avocados, Amanda loves avocado toast.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So that was the genesis of the blanket.
Yeah.
There. All right.
It was a gift to her because she loves avocado toast.
I don't know if I've ever really thought, you know what sounds good? Avocado toast. So I'm sure I've had it before. I just don't really remember.
I definitely don't. I don't think I would eat it even if I could. But I'm highly allergic to avocado.
Which is interesting because that doesn't seem like an overly, you got nuts and things out there that seem like everybody's got some kind of allergy to. I don't hear a lot of avocado allergies out there.
And it's a weird allergy because it makes the inside of my eardrums itch. Like right on just the inside of my eardrums and then in the backside of my nasal cavity to where I just sit there and snort like a pig trying to itch it.
Don't, Lloyd.
No,
I
don't,
already see.
Lloyd.
I already see him moving. No, don't do it. Don't do it.
And I have to jam my fingers in and do that whole ear wiggle thing to try to itch.
Loosen it up.
Yeah. Yes. And avocado, it lights me up. It itches me up like a cat on a hot summer day.
I could see you.
You have to do what? What sound do you have to do?
Stop.
No, I'm not going to do any sound, Lloyd. Don't look at me all disappointed.
We need to. You brought it up. We need to know what it sounds like.
I'm not going to do it. No.
Stop it.
And
Since when do you stop at the line?
Since today.
Keep going.
Since right now.
What does it sound like? What noise do you make?
It's that snort. It's just the
I don't know.
Okay, here it goes.
Like that. It's like a chipmunk snort. You have to pull air through the back of your nose and
3, 2, 1.
No, I'm not doing it. No.
Hey, by the way, haircuts. $60, $40. There's a couple of 25. I would say high end, it's looking like 80-ish. Low end is looking 25-ish to 35-ish. So I think you're looking at an average of about 50.
All right, it has been decades since I've paid for a haircut. Like decades and decades. So there is one upside of losing
we must have,
your hair.
by the way, super cheap listeners because I don't want to say cheap, maybe they're just smart. Let's just call them smart listeners because everywhere I've heard is like $90. I really have heard 90 from
somebody.
A lot of people.
You need to pass this on to Alex because if he's getting dinged $80-$90 a haircut,
it's a friend, by the way, and he discounted him, and we discounted it to it was like 65. I'm like, geez, man.
And then he's probably wanting a tip too.
Of course.
That was another thing I didn't know you were supposed to do is tip your haircut guy.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh.
Well, that's what Prison Barrels says on Twitter. He says it depends on how good she makes me look, but it's usually around 45 to 50. So that must be with the tip included.
Hopefully they're not asking for the tip before you get your haircut.
This little screen's going to ask you just a couple of questions before we get started.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
Sorry, it only asked me one question, and that was for a tip.
Yeah. I got. I can't.
Talk about that later.
I can't tell the story on there, but I got something. I went full Karen the other day at a place.
Really?
A little bit, yeah. Not one of my finer moments, but I feel like it was justified.
Jeez, I want to hear it. Can you tell it on there?
Well, there was an establishment that I went to go pick up.
So would you call it? So you went full Ken?
Yeah, is that
I think
male equivalent of Karen?
Ken or Kevin?
So I went to go pick up this. My wife and I ordered some food from a place, and I don't like delivery because delivery costs you like $10, $15 extra.
Yeah.
And plus you have to tip.
Yep.
So I like to go and just pick it up.
Sure.
Get away in the car for a few minutes.
Because you're a responsible, walking, mobile adult.
Exactly. And so I went in and I'd already pre-purchased the food, went to pick it up. But my wife texted me. She said, hey, they're also serving this. Can you pick up one of these? It was a little dessert item. And I'm like, oh, that looks great. Yeah, for sure. I'll go grab that. So I went there and I picked it up and I'm like, okay, I'm ordering this, but I also have a order that I already paid for. And this lady, I'll just say, it was me and my wife. The combined meal that I ordered was $23. Okay, not bad. We'll take it. And so the lady then rings me up and she goes, that's $19.95. I'm like, oh, I already paid online and it was $23, so I've already paid for it. She's like, no, this additional thing you ordered was $19.95. It's a little dessert cup that had strawberries and chocolate on it with some like pistachio stuff. It was $20. And I'm like, I'm not paying what? I'm not. She's like, well, you've already ordered it, sir. And I'm like, and I'm looking around people and I'm wearing my KSL sports jacket and stuff. And I'm just a hair away from just going full Karen or Ken or whatever.
$20 for this little thing.
$20. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. And she's like, it is. And she dropped the, it is what it is. And I'm like, oh, you did.
What'd you say?
And I'm like,
did you say something? Be honest.
I did. I said, that's ridiculous and I don't want it anymore. And she's like, you've already ordered it. And there were people behind me and I'm like, I can't make it see. Oh, and there was a guy that was like, hey, love the show. And I'm like, all right.
You paid the 20?
I paid the 20.
How was the dessert?
Subpar.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
And I didn't really have any of it because, I'm trying to stay away from that stuff, but. Ugh.
Well, as you know, I had a bump in with a custard shop.
Yeah.
It was a pretty brutal bump in. It was actually horrible. And by the way, the custard shop's out of business. It didn't last a year. But I walked into a custard shop. I ordered just a medium custard with a little bit of mix in.
Yeah.
Nothing out of the norm. And it was like $7.80. And when she slid the cup across the table, it was just past half full. So this already small cup, just past half full. And I took it and I said, look, the $7+ is already steep. I said, can you at least top me off here? He's like, no, that's the going amount for whatever size I'd ordered. I said, that's 2 spoonfuls. That's 2 hand spoonfuls for $7. Yeah, break that down. We're talking about close to $3 a spoonful.
Yeah.
Like I need some help here. And she's like, no. And I slid it across the table. I said, I'm sorry. I'm not paying for that. Like that's highway robbery.
Yeah.
And somebody was with me that I might be married to.
Yeah.
And she was appalled. She's like, how dare you? We got to the car. How dare you? I was like, babe, I can't pay.
Out of good conscience, I can't do it.
I can't do it. She's like, you go back in there and you pay that person. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. And we argued about it for about a week.
Wow.
Yeah, it was rough.
That one hung around for a little bit, huh?
Yeah, it was rough. It's just lucky that we have a burning love and desire for each other to be able to make it through something like that.
Now, if somebody charged you $7.50 for avocado toast, you're like, fine.
Fine. Here's your money.
Make her happy.
And I could just sit there and watch my wife eat with a big smile.
Yeah.
Because she loves avocado toast. But if they only put avocado on half of the toast.
And they charge you $10.
Then I'm like,
no.
Babe, we're not buying this avocado toast.
Yeah.
Like, give me the full avocado across the toast and we'll talk.
Yeah.
But don't slide a half empty cup over to me and be like, here's $7.80. That's where the whole thing went down for me with custard.
And they went out of business.
And they did. Well, and I've been burning hot mad. I have not had a bite of custard since. That's actually a lie. I'll say it this way. I have not bought.
Yeah. Frank Dolce's provided some custard.
And Scotty, my boy Scotty Brown,
yeah.
He'll take me for some custard because he loves some custard and he's not afraid to pay that money.
Yeah.
But I'm not paying it.
No. Hans and Scotty. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You're locked on to Hans Olsen and Scotty G. That's right. Yeah! On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. still working out the kinks.
You're not messing with it, are you? I can't imagine. You're not like.
Can you
messing
move the
with that.
camera?
You can't move it. Okay. Okay, just making sure.
No, it's just
We had some issues with it zooming out, like
Yeah, yesterday I was like on a wide angle.
whenever you guys were last in Monday, I think.
Yeah, the video stream is cutting off the top part of my head, which I guess I don't really mind because it does have a shine with a little bit of baldness on it. But if we're going to do this video thing, I'd like to have my whole person be a part of it, you know?
I'm trying to see if I can create a shadow on my head.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Huh. Interesting. Go to KSLSports.com. You can get the live video stream. You can also do it on our YouTube page as well. Just search KSL Sports. And yes, we will invade your smartphone, your tablet, your computer, whatever. Oh, Lloyd just moved it. Can you really do it?
Yeah, no, I can do it. I mean, it could be like maybe you're hunching more or you're standing up. So if you move it a little bit, it's got to be adjusted.
Oh, all right. So you could do like a Wayne's World, like extreme close-up kind of thing and get
Sure.
really crazy.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right, cool. Hey, Utah Hockey Club, they may not make the playoffs, but boy, they're taking some momentum and they're taking teams down with them. If they're not going to make it, they're going to make life miserable for everybody.
This is the time of year, Scotty, where we start to really regret some of those early season losses.
Yes.
And I'm starting to understand that the NHL season is structured a lot like the NBA season, where, you know, you're in a ho-hum game on the road against Anaheim on October 16th, and you're not laser focused, and they push you to OT, and then you end up losing an OT, so you only get a single point out of the matchup, and you should have come out of it with 2. You know, you go into you've got San Jose, you got the Sharks that come into Delta Center about 2 weeks later, and you lose to the Sharks, and on October 28th, which is a team and a game.
And was that the game where they gave up 3 goals in literally a minute and a half?
That's
in
the
the
one.
third period.
Yep.
Yeah, that's when I remember. I was like, man, if it really comes down to something like this, they're going to remember that one.
There's always those games in an NBA season that we point to and like, yeah, that one's you're going to remember that one. And now we're starting to do that with this hockey team coming down the stretch that just, you know, with St. Louis getting on that hot streak may have really shut the door on a lot of possibilities, but you still can't help but think about, oh, if they would have got this and this and this, would have been a lot better.
Okay, so just a couple thoughts. Okay, so the Minnesota Wild are the next wild card,
Yes.
and they've got 4 games left. If they win one of the 4, they lock the spot in.
I think they only need a point too, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if they get an overtime loss, then it's done.
Is it just 1?
I think it's 1 point.
And they play the Sharks at home tonight, who have like 18 or 20 wins on the season.
Yeah.
It's a terrible
Miserable.
team. So they play them at home in Minnesota tonight. So it probably shuts the door on the Utah Hockey Club. And there's a part of me that's like, please shut the door, because I'm getting overly anxious about this.
Yeah.
The 7-1 last night was a reminder that this Utah Hockey Club is playing better hockey than the Minnesota Wild.
Oh, yeah.
Including the fact they beat Minnesota 3 times this season and only lost to them once, and that one loss was an overtime loss. So you are outplaying Minnesota currently, and Minnesota is 2-6 in their last 8 games. And Minnesota's about to unseat you.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm bleeding out right now. Just finish me.
Yeah,
Just
that's it.
finish
That's
me,
it.
please.
Man.
I'm bleeding out.
That's it.
Come on.
I mean, but it does, like, it just sits in your craw when you realize that of the 2 teams right now, the Utah Hockey Club is the better hockey team.
Yeah.
They are playing better hockey. They are a better team right now than Minnesota. Yet Minnesota, because of their overall body of work, is going to get into the playoffs when the Utah Hockey Club will not. And that sucks.
That sucks. And the other team that's right there is Calgary.
Yes.
Calgary actually has more points. I think Utah's at 84, and I think Calgary's at 87. But they just beat Calgary a couple nights ago.
Yep.
That was one of the games that I was at, and they thumped them, and they thumped them good. Like it was a nice win. It was 2-1, and I think it was an empty net that put it 3-1.
3-1, yeah.
If I remember right. But they thumped Calgary, and Calgary's right there too. So it's not going to happen. 4 games left. Only 1 home game. That's tomorrow night against Nashville, and then you're on the road for 3 games to finish out the season. But At this point now, I'm like, all right, you're at 84. 6 more gets you to 90. That would be a pretty nice number.
And I think that's got to be your goal now at this point. Break that 90 plateau. You've already got more points scored than, what was it, since 2017, 2018, something like that?
Yep.
So it has been a remarkable season. This team's guaranteed to be over 500. This team has done a lot of really good things in that whole building step process that we've been talking about, that Bill Armstrong's coming on every week and saying we're not skipping steps. They took a big, giant step forward. Is it the step we hoped for? Not really. We all wanted the playoffs, but they were right there. And then it sets the stage for next year.
That's right.
With some free agency, I'm just used to saying, get a little help in the draft. Obviously, that's not going to be the case because we don't see draft picks for a couple of years.
Yeah.
But free agency, some trades, booster that lineup, get everybody back and healthy. And if these guys are healthy for 82, then yeah, this is a playoff team next year.
Well, I'm hoping that they can hit 90.
Yeah.
They play Nashville twice, once at home, once on the road, and then they got to find a win between Dallas and St. Louis. Now, my hope is that Mr. Armstrong, some call him Mr. Cunningham, I call him Mr. Armstrong.
No, is Mr. Armstrong to us.
I'm hoping that Mr. Armstrong can get a win to end this season against the St. Louis Blues in his old home. That would be a very lovely vindication because it was St. Louis that went on a crazy run. They ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They ended up with a 12-game winning streak to secure that other wild card spot in the West. And it would be really nice to give them a haymaker. Now, I don't know. Maybe St. Louis at that point is like, hey, we know. I don't know if the NHL does that like the NBA does.
It's like, and NFL does that too. If you've got your spot secured.
We don't need it.
We're
not going to risk anything.
Yeah.
Even I don't care what the situation is. I want the Utah Hockey Club to go in there, stomp on the back of their heads.
Yep.
Because St. Louis is now on my list. Like, okay, that's the team. I'm gonna watch Utah Hockey Club versus St. Louis for years to come.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it's because when we had Bill on and I asked him, he said things used to be friendly. Do you remember?
Oh yeah.
It was awesome. Yeah. It's like in the beginning things were friendly, and as we've beat them a time or two, and
not so much.
Time has passed. It's just not so much. So I like that for Bill, and I like that for this team. But I think beat Nashville twice, beat St. Louis, and you get yourself to 90 points. 90 points. Remember, we were talking, well, what is the standard? And everybody's like 90, 90, 90. Okay, you get to 90, and now you just add 8 points next year. You're there.
Yep. That's it.
And I think you're right. I think that's a trade. It's something small. Because we're now seeing guys really rise to the occasion. You watched Sergachev last night, the primary defender, and a guy that I think kind of flies under the radar. He does it all. He's on your power play. He's on your penalty kill. He's on your front line. He's murderous. And I think he is one of probably 3 guys that are the catalyst to the playoffs. And I actually asked Bill Armstrong about Sergachev yesterday, and this is what Bill had to say about what Sergey means to this team.
From the get-go, he's exactly what we ordered, and he's been a massive part of some nights he plays half the game for us back there, and he's just a wizard on defense. He's solid. He plays the power play. He's probably one of the best PK guys in the league, and he's a heck of a leader. So I can't say enough good things about him. He's been a big part of this team, and he's going to help us grow into a championship organization.
He's absolutely spot on that. 100% correct. Because this is a guy, you've got your young superstars that you're developing, and then you bring in guys that are just that can do everything. Your Swiss Army knives, like Sergachev, like that's got leadership opportunities, been around the league for a little bit. Like when you're team building, this is the kind of guy that is going to do well for you.
Got to have a guy like this.
Yep.
People, what I'm coming to learn about hockey is you've got to have an amazing penalty kill.
Yep.
And you've got to have an amazing power play. Those are your moments. Those are the 2 moments to seize. Because a great PK, allows you to be extremely aggressive.
Yeah.
If you got a bad penalty kill, then you don't trust that your team could do it with 4. And you're giving up a high percentage of score when you go into the penalty kill. Well, I can't have dudes that are playing the game the way it's meant to be played. Hockey is meant to be right on the edge of, you're not just going to throw me in the penalty box, you're going to throw me out of the game. That's the way hockey's played. I'm going to play it to the point where you're having to make a decision. Yeah, when my stick goes high and I get a high stick, I want a tooth to come out.
Yep. I'm going to make it count.
Yeah, when I slash or when I take that stick across the lower back, which is constant, guys will get that stick right across their 2 hands and they'll slam it right into the lower back of a player. I see it every night, every time I go out and watch these games. And you have to be able to play like that. That's what makes Florida who they are. That's what makes Calgary who they are, even though the Utah Hockey Club got the win over Calgary. Calgary is just known for being chippy and nasty. And that's the way I want this Utah Hockey Club to be able to play. And you can do that when you've got a penalty kill that you can rely on.
And that's one thing that they've been good at, has been penalty kill. The power play, on the other hand, they've not been great at. But penalty kill has been a good point. But, one thing, and we'll ask
Their
Bill.
best point.
We'll ask Bill about this next week, is from my perspective, and again, I'll be the first to admit I'm a novice on this. I'm still learning, as we all are, NHL hockey. This team seems tougher and more aggressive at this point of the season than they did at the first of the season.
Yep.
And so if you can continue to evolve in that, I don't know if you'll ever be the bullies that Florida is. I mean, I think they're just wired that way. Mm-hmm. But this team, I think, is developing a little nastiness to it. At least from my perspective.
Well, Scotty, I know how I'd build my team.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm an expert, but I know how I'd build my team. First and foremost, the first thing I'd do, if I'm starting from a fresh slate, I'd get the best goalie that money could buy. That's the number one thing I'd do. As now I'm about to complete my first NHL season of being on and near the ice and around the game and talking with the general manager, and I would get the best goalie that money could buy. It's first and foremost, and it's not even close for me.
Agreed.
Second, I'm getting my thug. I'm getting my hired hand. I'm getting the thumb breaker. Like, I want the guy that goes out and collects the money. I want the guy that he's not afraid to take off the skate and throw it at somebody. I want that dude.
Yeah.
That's my guy. I want a guy that everybody in the league fears. Okay, because they fear my guy, then they leave Logan Cooley alone. When Logan Cooley's left alone, he can do damage. When Keller's left alone, he can do damage. But if there's nobody that sets the fear of God into the deep gut of these NHL players that are tough as iron, then they ain't going to leave him alone. But if I've got that dude, it's like, man, I know if I go at Cooley and put him in the glass, I know I'm going to have to answer with a stick across the back from Joe Blow. I don't want that.
I'm not feeling that today. I don't want any of that smoke right now.
I think that dude prevents a lot from happening and allows a lot to happen from great players, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yep.
And then second, I'm going to find a wing that can go one-on-one with anybody. Third.
Yeah.
I'm going to find a wing that just flies and can go one-on-one. And that's how I build it. That's the first three things I do. Goalie, thug, scorer. And I think that's your answer.
And then build around it.
But you know what I love about learning about the NHL is I know when I tune in to watch a game, I get to see absolute nastiness and toughness.
You'll get it every night.
And that's what I would spend my money on. I would spend my money on that. Like, I'm not watching a guy go down and feign an injury and, I'm not doing that.
No.
These guys are awesome. And I'm absolutely in love with the game.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Looking for the latest on the Jazz, Utes, Cougars, and Aggies? Yeah, we've got you covered. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G on 97.5, the Sports Zone.
Hans Olsen, Scott Gerard, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Time for another edition of What You May Have Missed. But before we get to it, you were at the game last night. Our guy Mark here was at the game last night. Well, guess what? You can go to the game as well. Caller number 12, 801-575-ZONE. You'll win a 5-pack of tickets to see the Salt Lake Bees take on the Reno Aces at the ballpark at America First Square. Don't miss professional baseball, family-friendly fun, and more at their brand new stadium in Harriman.
Scotty, just really quick on what you may have missed. I do want to shed some light on the rumors that are floating out there about Rob Wright. He's the guard with Baylor.
Yes.
And he's a very good guard. Averaged 11 points, 5 assists. He's 6'1", he's fast, and he was kind of a do-it-all guy for Baylor. And a tweet was sent out by, I think it was first reported by a national reporter, I think. But it obviously caused waves all over that BYU would be paying him an NIL of $3.5 million. And I can absolutely shed light that is an inaccurate report. $3.5 million is not accurate. Now, obviously, there's going to be money exchanged. I do think that the report that Rob Wright is coming to BYU is accurate. I just don't think it's $3.5 million. And I'm not saying it's not close.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's $3.5 million. And, we see these things just thrown out there, like $7 million for AJ and $4.5 million for Kevin Young. And a lot of times people are doing that to better their position, or
Yes.
they're doing it with a purpose. It typically isn't ever what you see and what you think it is. So don't believe the $3.5 million. But I would believe, my guess is BYU's got the inside track on Rob Wright, and he should end up on this roster.
Well, knowing some of the numbers that are being thrown out there and what some guys are getting right now, guys that are making 7 figures that have no business making 7 figures. And, hey, look, again, you're worth what somebody's willing to pay you. So God bless you. If you can go get it, go get it. But there are guys getting 7 figures right now where I'm like, you didn't even make an all-conference honor. You didn't do, and it just blows my mind, the money that's being thrown out there. So when I saw 3.5 for a guy who has a chance to be a really special player for BYU, I was like, yeah, that's about right. Does it seem like a lot? Sure. Does it seem like it's in line with the market? Yeah, actually it does. Like if 3.5 was the number, which you're saying it's not, and we've talked off the air, and you would know that it's not. But even if it was 3.5, it wouldn't shock me at all.
No.
Of a player of that caliber and the market out of control as it is right now.
That's why I think everybody just buys it.
Yeah.
And goes with what's set. And I think that's why people feel comfortable throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Like, we'll just throw out 3.5. And if anything, it's going to make everybody around Rob Wright say, whoa. Okay, 3.5. What do we get you to 4?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you've increased it by, let's just say for the sake of a crazy number, you've increased it by $600,000. And it's like, that's kind of dirty business, but it's business. And really, when it all boils down to it, the only people it matters to is Rob Wright and BYU.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it's all on the up and up. I want people to understand that, BYU's gotten in the money game, but they're doing it the right way. Look, if they're going to allow it, BYU's going to do it. And I'm all for it. And this roster would be crazy.
Yeah.
Rob Wright, Richie Saunders, AJ DeMonsa, Keba Keita. You'd have Boscovich back. You'd have Dawson Baker back. You'd have
who's the other freshman too? That's in a McDonald's All-American. I forget his name, but you got 2 McDonald's All-Americans.
Is it Xavier Station? Is that?
Yeah.
I'm trying. Anyways,
yeah.
This team is. BYU's never seen anything like this roster.
Nope, and that's going to be a top 10 team.
And they just got invited to the Jimmy V tournament.
Yes.
At Madison Square Garden.
Not a bad way to start things off.
In December.
Yeah. All right, Hans and Scotty. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.